Fortnite is possibly the most mainstream game of all time. Over the years, its influence has been felt in many aspects of life outside of gaming, and while this comes with its perks, it also puts a huge target on the back of Epic Games. Over the years, Fortnite's existence as a game has been very controversial, with numerous lawsuits being filed both by and against Epic Games. From being sued by famous rappers, to suing teenage cheat developers, and even fighting the world's biggest technology conglomerates, this is the history of Fortnite's lawsuits. While Fortnite Battle Royale launched in September of 2017, Epic Games was already a well-established game developer beforehand, with it being valued at nearly $1 billion as far back as 2012, so by the time Fortnite released in 2017, it was safe to say that Epic had established themselves and had some deep pockets, and when Fortnite released, it had a rampant cheating problem. Epic, of course, would try to remedy this in more traditional ways, such as improving their anti-cheat and providing incentives to not throw away accounts. However, this wasn't enough, so in October of 2017, Epic Games chose the nuclear option when they took two of these cheat distributors to court. According to the material in the lawsuit, these people were the owners of a software called Addicted Cheats. Epic Games argued that the cheats illegally modified the game's source code, which was a violation of the EULA and copyright protections, and charges of this magnitude could potentially carry fines of up to $150,000, so this was serious. Epic Games also confirmed that they had banned one of the cheaters on 9 separate occasions, and each and every time he would just create a new account. This cheater would mostly participate in stream sniping, which Epic also argued was causing damages to their company and their bottom line. Even though one of the defendants was only 14 years old, it is clear he knew what he was doing. Before the lawsuit was filed, Epic sent a takedown notice to have his YouTube videos promoting the cheat removed. The kid pushed back by disputing the claim, pretty much giving Epic the go-ahead to pursue the matter legally. Eventually, the kid's mother got involved, saying that he was being used as a scapegoat, as he never created the cheats, rather he only used them and promoted them on YouTube. This pushback made the case a pretty viral sensation among YouTube and the media, although the case was eventually settled in favor of Epic Games and the courts issued an injunction on the kid, which essentially means that he is legally not allowed to cheat ever again, and if he is ever caught cheating again, he would face a $5,000 fine. And it seems like Epic Games are back to pursuing cheaters legally. On December 18th, a lawsuit was filed against one prolific cheater named Subortion. According to Epic, he cheated on multiple accounts with both software and hardware cheats. After being banned multiple times, Epic Games chose the nuclear option and are now suing him. The case is still in its very early stages though, so we will have to wait and see where it goes. Going into 2018, Fortnite really began to take over the world. In the early months of that year, many recognizable mainstream faces expressed their enjoyment of the game, as well as many of the game's most popular players making it onto mainstream news platforms. However, this newfound fame wasn't all positive for Epic Games. You see, while Fortnite took the idea of a battle royale to the mainstream masses, many other popular games before it were also battle royales. This led to many memes being made about how Fortnite is a quote, rip-off of PUBG, and that Fortnite was a broke man's PUBG. While these were all jokes, nobody expected what was to come. In May of 2018, the South Korean-based developer of PUBG, Bluehole, filed a lawsuit against Epic Games Korea requesting an injunction. Bluehole alleged that Fortnite infringed on its copyright, but other than that they gave no further detail. Now this case already had some gaping holes from the get-go. First off, Bluehole doesn't own the genre of Battle Royale. Nobody does. The game was inspired by predecessors that came before it, such as the films Battle Royale and Hunger Games, as well as many video games based on the premise. Additionally, even if Bluehole had a case, there was another glaring issue, which is that it was built off Unreal Engine 4, a game engine owned by Epic Games. So if Bluehole somehow won the case, what would happen to their access to Unreal Engine? In the end, the case was dropped under unknown circumstances just a month later in June. As stated earlier, it is unknown whether the parties settled or if Bluehole just saw the writing on the wall and realized the case was weak from the start. Unlike this video, which presents a very strong case for you to subscribe to my channel and like the video if you so wish. When one thinks of Fortnite, the cosmetics are likely one of the first things that comes to mind. Fortnite is a very stylistically unique game which makes the cosmetics a big appeal, so in light of their newfound mainstream fame, Epic Games began to get a lot more ambitious with the cosmetics in their game. Up until this point, all cosmetics were ideas original to Fortnite, but this would change with the launch of Season 3, with subtle collaborations such as a John Wick skin and the CDN the Third emote. But this was just the beginning. In order to appeal to a more mainstream audience, Fortnite began adding emotes and skins that were direct references to pop culture, with some of the most famous examples of which in 2018 being the Swipe It emote, a direct rip of the Millie Rock, the Fresh emote, which is a direct rip of the Carlton dance from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and the famous floss dance made popular by the Backpack Kid. However, this wasn't without its controversy. Over the span of 2018, many popular figures would come out and criticize Epic Games for adding these dances to Fortnite, most notably when Chance the Rapper and Blockboy lambasted Epic for their addition of the Millie Rock and the Carlton. This eventually came to a boiling point in December of 2018 when 2Millie, the creator of the Millie Rock dance, filed a lawsuit against Epic Games. Shortly after, Fresh Prince actor Alfonso Ribeiro and Backpack Kid's mom filed lawsuits of their own, all of which sought to have their dances removed and to be awarded compensation for punitive damages. And not long after, in February of 2019, more people such as 2 basketball players behind the Running Man dance also sued Epic Games. Epic responded to the backlash with a defense of their own, stating that, quote, "No one can own a dance step." And in the end, all of these lawsuits were either dropped by their respective plaintiffs or courts ruled in favor of Epic Games. Most of these people just didn't have a strong enough case, or like in the case of the Backpack Kid, their dances weren't even original creations in the first place. But this is nothing compared to the severity of the next lawsuit. In November 2018, a cybersecurity firm informed Epic Games of a serious account security vulnerability. The firm alleged that an individual was able to exploit a login vulnerability in order to extract personal information and payment details of any account they desired. These individuals would then use the extracted information to purchase copious amounts of V-Bucks in order to resell the accounts on the Fortnite black market for profit. Now this was some serious stuff, but for whatever reason, Epic Games didn't publicly acknowledge the data breach until a whole 2 months later. This led to a class action lawsuit being filed in August of 2019 by a Colorado-based law firm named FD Azar. Now, not much is known about how this lawsuit progressed, as public records are typically paywalled, but according to one source, the case was later dismissed for unknown reasons. However, a similar case to this one was filed earlier that year and was dismissed by courts due to lack of jurisdiction, so it wasn't necessarily a win for Epic, but more so the courts throwing up their hands and letting someone else deal with the case if it was to ever be refiled. So this is probably what happened to the original class action lawsuit. As stated earlier, Fortnite was very ambitious when it came to setting industry standards in gaming, and this is no different in the case of their live events. In the build-up to Chapter 2, Fortnite held the End event, which had Fortnite get swallowed up into a black hole, putting the game offline for 2 whole days. This catapulted Fortnite to the highest peak it ever saw in mainstream popularity, even higher than its early 2018 peaks. However, not everything went to plan, as some of Chapter 2 was leaked beforehand. In September, one of these defendants posted an early beta of the Chapter 2 map on Twitter. While it originally received skepticism, players were shocked to find out that it was nearly identical to the actual Chapter 2 release map. The other defendants supposedly leaked the addition of a swing mechanic and boats. Epic alleged that these leakers ruined the surprise of the build-up to Chapter 2, and as a result demanded compensation in the form of damages. In the end, the leakers got off surprisingly light. The leakers were given a permanent ban from acquiring, using, and sharing Epic trade secrets, as well as encouraging others to do the same themselves. If at any point in the future they are found guilty, they will face a $10,000 fine. As mentioned many times earlier in the video, Fortnite was a worldwide phenomena enjoyed by many, but some took their enjoyment of the game too far, to the point of addiction, and this is where many of the controversies of quote-unquote gaming addiction come in. However, in October of 2019, this came to a climax when 2 parents from Quebec filed a request via a Montreal law firm for a class action lawsuit that alleged that Fortnite was as addictive as cocaine. The parents allege that Epic Games utilized the input of psychology experts in order to make the game as addictive as possible. The parents stated that their kids had become so addicted that they became violent when told to stop, just as an addict would. Immediately following the news of this breaking, most people on social media laughed about the case and cited how ridiculous it was. Most people pointed out how this was the fault of the parents, which is agreeable. However, against all odds, the lawsuit was given approval in December of 2022 and is now allowed to proceed as a class action lawsuit. but that is where the story seems to end for now, so it is likely that the lawyers are trying to gather any evidence they can to make such a weak case as presentable as possible. Only time will tell though. All of these lawsuits so far have been pretty intense, but nothing compares to what Epic would do in 2020. In August of that year, Epic Games dropped a bombshell in the world when it came out that they were suing both Apple and Google. On August 13th, Epic Games purposely violated Apple's terms of service by allowing customers to purchase V-Bucks directly from Epic as opposed to going through the App Store. Apple, of course, revoked Epic's privileges to be on the App Store, and the lawsuit quickly ensued. Because of this, mobile Fortnite had just been essentially deleted with the snap of a finger. It was unplayable on Apple devices and only playable on Android devices via external means, such as downloading APKs. A little over a year later, in September of 2021, the court ruled almost entirely in favor of Apple. 9 out of the 10 accounts went in Apple's favor, with the 10th about Apple's anti-steering policy favoring Epic. However, neither party wanted to settle on this matter, so legal battles continued. The legal battles would continue an additional year and a half, only for the original ruling to once again be upheld. And then in January of 2024, the Supreme Court refused to hear the case, officially putting it to an end. But that wasn't all for Apple though. In recent years, the European Union has begun to crack down on Apple in many different ways, one of which being its App Store monopoly. The EU passed the Digital Markets Act in early 2024, requiring Apple to allow other storefronts to exist on iOS. This eventually allowed Epic Games to get Fortnite back on iOS devices in Europe. The UK soon followed, passing a DMCC bill, which Epic plans to capitalize on and get Fortnite on the App Store for UK consumers sometime in 2025. And to this day, there are ongoing legal battles between Apple and Epic, so this story is far from over as of now. As for the lawsuit against Google, it was much more favorable for Epic Games. In December of 2023, a court ruled entirely in favor of Epic Games that Google did indeed have a monopoly over the space with the Google Play Store, but it seems like Epic still wants more, as recently in September of 2024, Epic sued Google once again. This time, Epic is alleging that Google and now Samsung as well are still holding the App Store monopolies over their platforms by using features that automatically block quote-unquote unauthorized apps from being downloaded. Epic states that because this feature is on by default, there is no clear process for rival app stores to become authorized, and therefore still violates antitrust laws. However, this lawsuit is still in its early stages, so we will just have to wait and see where this one goes to. Fortnite's battle with cheaters wasn't a one-and-done effort though. After their first time around with legally pursuing a cheater, the cheating situation in Fortnite worsened. Easy anti-cheat was showing its cracks and people began to exploit it, and one of the most notorious people who exploited this was BlazeFN. Like other cheat developers before him, BlazeFN was very prolific and advertised aimbots, wall hacks, and unlimited V-Buck exploits. Epic saw this as a threat and took him to court under the same premises as the last cheater. They argued his cheats modified the source code, which violated the EULA agreement as well as their copyright. The Australian courts agreed, and in May of 2022, Blaze was fined an undisclosed amount of money, which Epic then promptly donated to the Child's Play charity. Pretty cool that Epic just takes the cheaters' money like that and donates it to charity. Finally, the last significant lawsuit in Fortnite's lawsuit history are the various lawsuits all arguing that Fortnite's monetization practices were predatory and exploitative of children. Lawsuits like this have cropped up at many points in the game's history, but it all came to a climax in December of 2022 when the Federal Trade Commission ruled that this indeed was the case and ordered Epic Games to pay out a sum of $245 million to anyone who was adversely affected by their predatory practices. Anyone above the age of 18 that met the criteria could apply for a refund, with applications ending not too long ago in early 2024. According to the FTC, payments were to be sent out sometime in 2024 once all the information was verified, so hopefully any of you that applied got something out of it. And just recently, a second round of applications opened up, with the deadline being on January 10th, so definitely apply and you might just get something out of it. Overall, Fortnite has had a tumultuous legal history over the years. When your game is as mainstream as Fortnite is, it is bound to attract all kinds of attention. And while some of these lawsuits were petty, such as the addiction lawsuits, others were very significant to the history of technology, such as the Epic Games vs. Apple lawsuit. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see similar content, then like, subscribe, follow my socials, and check out the video on your screen now.